Yo, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Roy, one half of Combat Sport Guys, coming back to you with another UFC quick pick videos, this time in the form of UFC Seattle. If you want to see our long form video, it will be in the description below. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe, make sure you show some love. This week we have some bantamweight action. Henry Cejudo is taking on Song Yadong in a 5-round main event. In our co-main, we have Brendan Allen taking on Fluffy Hernandez. This is a rematch from 2018, their LFA days. This time, they're meeting under different circumstances. We'll see what happens. Gonna be an exciting card. I'm excited to break it down. Let's get into it. Kicking off the card, we have Modestas Bukauskis taking on Rafael Sequeira. Now, there's a lot of unknown revolving around Rafael Sequeira because in his UFC debut, he got immediately put out by Ibo Aslan, the Turkish power. Now, Sequeira has strong, explosive power. He has finished 8 of his fights via TKO, 2 of his fights via submission, but this is in the regional scene out in Brazil. We don't know the caliber of fighter that's over there. Is it UFC level? We can't tell, but there isn't a lot of video or footage of him in trouble. We haven't really seen him tested. There isn't a lot of film on him going the distance. There isn't a lot of film on him managing grapplers, his endurance. There's a lot of unknown surrounding Rafael Sequeira. A lot of people are mesmerized by that 11-0 a record that he had coming into the UFC. And now he's at 11-1. Is he going to look better in this fight? We'll see. Has he shooken off the nerves? We'll see. He's going up against Modestas Bukauskis, who at 31 years old is a versatile striker with a kickboxing background. He's growing his grappling game. He can mix that up. He has that threat. And I think in this fight, if he's able to mix in the grappling, not let Sequeira utilize that power, get into the rhythm of things, he could pull out a victory here. But due to the fact that there's a lot of unknowns surrounding Sequeira, I'm going to have to side with Bukowskis here to get it done. We'll move on. Next up, we have a middleweight bout in Nursultan. Ruziboyev taking on Eric Mekonico. Now, Ruziboyev in his last fight, he fought up against Joaquin Buckley at 170, where he looked a bit dehydrated. He looked a bit uncomfortable. I think he's gonna look more energetic, more alive at 185, where he's a bit more comfortable. He has the 6'5" frame. He's tall. He has the length. I think in this matchup, facing off against Eric Mekonico, he's going to be able to utilize the range, kind of pick him apart from the outside, and then move on and get the grappling going. I think he is the better fighter. I'm going to rock with Ruziboyev to get it done in this fight. Now, next up, we have a late addition to the card. We have Austin Vanderford taking on Nikolai Varentenikov. Classic grappler versus striker in this matchup. The concerns I have with Austin Vanderford is in his only 2 losses on his record came by way of knockout. He does have a suspect chin, but he's a good grappler. He likes to get down to the ground and he likes to get busy, look for submission attempts. He does have the ground and pound threat. And I think if he's able to secure those takedowns early on, he is going to pull out the victory up against somebody who has good striking, who has good power behind their hands. But you have the grappler on one side, striker on one side. I'm going to have to side with the grappler here. As long as he protects his chin and doesn't get hit early on, he should get this done, especially at dog money. So Austin Vanderford is the pick. Next up, we have Ricky Simone, pressure wrestler, taking on Javid Basharat, who took his first L up against Ayman Sahabi last time out, where he was kind of outstruck and outvolumed in that fight. Close fight, in my opinion. I'm going to have to side with the side of Javid Basharat to get it done here. I don't think Ricky Simone has the striking output like an Ayman Sahabi to outvolume him, to outstrike him. He is a pressure wrestler. If Javid Basharat's able to snuff the takedowns, keep the feet on its feet, keep the fight on its feet, I think with the kickboxing, the leg kicks, it's going to be a little too much for Ricky Simone. I'm going to have Basharat winning via decision. Next up, we have 2 grapplers in Nick Klein up against Mansour Abdul Malik. Now, Malik is the heavy favorite. He's currently undefeated. He's a great wrestler. He has power behind his hands. He can fight backwards. He can take the fight to the ground. He's a good wrestler. You have an individual in Nick Klein who is taking this fight on short notice. He does have the submission threat. He is good fighting off his back and fighting on the ground, but I think Mansoor Abdul Malik has his number here. He's the more overall better, well-rounded fighter. I think he gets it done, but I don't think it's going to be easy. A lot of people are counting that Nick Klein is going to get knocked out, going to get finished. I think we're going to be surprised here. I think this fight does go to the decision. So I am going to have Mansoor Abdul Malik winning the fight, but I'm going to have him winning via decision. We'll move on to Andre Fili up against Melchizedek Costa. Now, this fight to me, I have the question. This fight to me presents the looming question. Which version of Andre Fili are we going to have? Are we going to have the brawler? We're going to have the wrestler? We're going to have the technical striker? If he's able to come in and have a solid game plan in which he takes his time, he utilizes his jab, utilizes his strikes, and then he moves in slowly and starts to pick Costa apart, he is going to have some success. Now, Costa on the other side, when he fights at range, utilizing his leg kicks, he's very dangerous. He's very exciting, and he looks unstoppable when he fights that way, but he doesn't always fight that way. So this fight, in my opinion, can go either way depending on how the two fighters approach this fight. But I'm gonna side with the Andre Fili side. I think Andre Fili is the better overall fighter. He does have the tools to be a great fighter. He just doesn't always put it together. He's a bit inconsistent for me, but Andre Fili should get it done. We'll move on here to our featured prelim in Ion Cutelaba up against Ibo Aslan. Now, Cutelaba in his last fight against Ivan Erslan, he was throwing some wild hooks. He barely won a split decision. The question for me, and it's kind of steering me away from Ion Cutelaba, is he going to use the wrestling? We can't always count on him to utilize the wrestling. He kind of likes to go out there and start off fast and then kind of just wither away and gas out. I think Ibo Aslan is too powerful. His striking is too good, and he's a big boy, man. I don't know if Ion is going to be able to have success in taking him down. We'll see. But if Ion Cutelaba comes in with that grappling heavy game plan, he could pull out a victory. But I'm going to side with the individual who has the momentum, who has the power behind that hands, and Ibo Aslan to get it done. So Ibo Aslan is the pick. Next up, we have the debutant in Julius Walker taking on Alonzo Menifield. Now, Julius Walker, from what I saw in the two fights that I watch, is that he has the same game plan. He likes to get the fight to the ground where he succeeds and he gets busy. But when those fights are on the feet, his chin is in the air. He looks a little uncomfortable on the feet. His striking isn't all there. So for that reason, I think Alonzo Menifield will be able to keep the fight standing. He will be able to have success on the feet. I don't think he's just going to be taken down willfully. He has been inconsistent in the past. His decision making hasn't been the best. I get it. But this is a huge jump in competition for Julius Walker. And from what I saw on the regional scene, I wasn't too impressed. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the veteran and Alonzo Menifield to pull out a victory here and welcome Julius Walker to the UFC. Moving on here, we have Gene Silva up against Melsik Bagdasaryan. This is an exciting kickboxing match. The both can throw, the both can kick. Very, very exciting. My main concern is that Bagdasaryan has been inactive since 2023, with a lot of his fights that were lined up being canceled due to him being injured. So my main question is, how is he going to be in this fight? Is he at full health? Is he fully recovered? Is he fully recovered? We've seen it in the past where these fighters go into these fights and then they come out saying, oh, well, I wasn't at 100%. We just saw Gregory Rodriguez. He put out a statement saying that he wasn't at 100% for his fight against Jared Cannonier. He was battling something. I forgot what it was, to what extent he said, but he wasn't at 100%. We saw Sean O'Malley after his fight against Merab Dvalishvili saying he wasn't at 100%. These fighters say after their fights. So I don't know where he's at with his health, but I think Gene Silva, he's been more active. He has a well-rounded game. He can grapple, he can strike, he can defend the takedowns. I'm going to go with Gene Silva, who has the momentum right now to pull out a victory here. But it's not going to be easy. This fight, in my opinion, is a lot closer than what a lot of people are making it out to be. Next up, we have Rob Font taking on Gene Matsumoto. Rob Font in his last fight looked good up against Kyler Phillips. He was the underdog. He was able to utilize his jab and really outwork Phillips, who looked tired in those later rounds. But if you remember, in that first round, Kyler Phillips took him down. He looked good, but he didn't have the output to continue that out for the next two rounds. Now, you have an individual in Gene Matsumoto who is at 16-0. He took this fight on short notice. He's putting up his O up against a tried and true vet in Rob Font at a 140-pound catch weight. Now, I think Gene Matsumoto has nice kicks. He has nice striking. He has good grappling. His last two fights were against Brad Katana and Dan Argueta, where he looked good. He was able to defend takedowns. He was able to secure takedowns. I think the main thing in this fight for me is Gene can't get stuck in that mindset that I want to prove that I could strike with the best strikers in the division, and I'm going to go out there and make this solely a striking match. I think he has to mix in the leg kicks. He has to mix in the striking combinations and level change and secure those takedowns where Rob Font struggles. So if he's able to do that, I think he's going to pull out the victory. I think he's going to remain undefeated. Give me Gene Matsumoto to win this fight. Next up, we have our co-main event, which is a rematch from 2018. We have Brendan Allen up against Anthony Hernandez. Now, I truly believe that this fight is a lot closer than what the odds are saying. I think there's a lot of recency bias. You have one individual in Anthony Hernandez who looked exceptionally well up against Michel Pereira. His cardio output was amazing, right? For those 4 rounds, he was able to secure multiple takedowns, just outwork him. Whereas you have an individual in Brendan Allen up against Nasruddin Imavov in his last fight, he looked gassed. That first round was amazing, but once Imavov got those takedowns, got that takedown defense down, kept the fight on its feet, he looked desperate. He looked tired. He looked like he was continuously looking for the takedown, but was unsuccessful. He didn't look good. But Brendan Allen has that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background. He is dangerous on the ground. He can look for a submission. So this fight, in my opinion, is another pick'em, but I'm gonna have to side with Anthony Hernandez because at the end of the day, cardio is one of those things that you either have it or you don't. And I think Anthony Hernandez has it, and I think he's going to be able to demonstrate that in this 3-round fight. I mean, he did it in a 5-round fight. In a 3-round fight, we're going to see him put the pressure, put the pace, and I don't want to say dominate, but he's going to put a performance in it. And I think this fight is going to be telling for the middleweight division because and Jared Cannonier's last fight, he kind of stated, I don't know if I can fight the guys that are above me because they either beat me or already fought them. They all want to contend for a title. So I think the winner of this fight is in line to face Jared Cannonier, in my opinion. So I'm going to rock with Anthony Hernandez. We'll move on. Now we are at our main event. We have Triple C Henry Cejudo, who's coming off of 2 losses, one to Aljamain Sterling and another to Merab Dvalishvili, the former 2-division champ, retired in his prime. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He's a pressure wrestler. He's great on the ground. His striking isn't the best, but he's able to piece it together. He's going up against the youngster in Yadong Song, who has exceptional striking. He has good counter punching. His takedown defense is at a 72%. He's coming off of that loss to Peter Yan, where he didn't look bad. I thought that fight was a lot closer than what it seemed. And the reason he lost, in my opinion, is because Peter Yan is a great boxer. He has excellent striking, good takedown, and good takedown defense. And I think what happened in that fight was that Peter Yan was able to counter-strike him. He was able to take him down in that 3rd round. He was able to set up his combinations to look for those takedowns. Now, he has gone the distance before. He has fought 5 rounds. I think in this fight, if he's able to sprawl and brawl, keep this fight standing, keep it on its feet, he is going to have some success. I think he's going to pull out a decision win here. I don't think he gets the knockout, but we don't know. I'm going to rock with the side of youth here in Yadong Song to pull out a victory. But Henry Cejudo, man, is a solid dog. I wouldn't be mad if you pick Henry Cejudo to win this fight. But give me youth, give me life, give me Yadong Song to pull out a victory here. That's it. Here you have our picks for myself and the Floor Price Guy. Make sure you follow us on X. We will be dropping our bets. We will be dropping our parlays. We will be dropping our prop bets. Make sure you tap in. We'll also be live on X for this fight with our immediate fight analysis. A lot of people seem to like that. You're not able to watch the fight? Tap in on X. We'll give you the round by round analysis. We're also going to give you the live bets. We've been extremely successful in dropping those live bets because we're not only are we watching the fights, we're monitoring the live bets. So when those live bets pop down and we're able to find value at plus money, we're going to give them to you guys. We're not going to be stingy with it. We're going to show some love. Some successes we've had in the past. We gave you Wei Li by decision at a plus 125. We gave you Alexandre Topuria by decision at a plus 500. We gave you Sergey Pavlovich by a decision at a plus 1400. We gave you Vitor Walker by submission as a live bet at a plus 400, I believe. So make sure you're tapping on X. Make sure you follow us. The description is below. We do have a long form video as well, which is linked below as well. Show some love. That's all we ask for. Do what you do, love what you love. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.